They turned away, but Allah stayed. When the people you loved walked away without looking back, when they left your messages unseen, when they stopped checking in, when their absence echoed louder than their presence ever did, Allah stayed. He saw the silent battles, the nights you couldn't sleep, the mornings you woke up hoping it was all a dream. He witnessed the tears you wiped so no one would notice, the prayers you whispered with a breaking voice, the way your heart quietly collapsed while you carried a smile. And while people overlooked it, dismissed it, or blamed you for feeling too deeply, Allah never turned away. The moment they left was not abandonment. It was redirection. It was your Lord clearing the room of those who couldn't carry the weight of your soul, couldn't see your worth beyond their own convenience, and couldn't stay long enough to understand the depth of your heart. You were not left behind. You were set apart, pulled out of noise, separated for healing, distanced for clarity. And in that stillness, in that solitude, you found something better than what they ever gave you. You found the one who never leaves. You found the one who stays even when you stop talking to him. You found the one who knows your pain without you having to explain it. You found the one who doesn't require performance, perfection, or proof. Allah was with you when they were planning their exit. He was with you when your heart sensed the shift before your mind could accept it. He was with you when you tried to hold on to someone who had already let go. And he was with you when you finally broke down and said, "Ya Allah, I don't know what to do anymore." That whisper wasn't the end. It was the beginning. It was the moment he pulled you closer than ever before. Because sometimes Allah allows hearts to break so they can finally open to him. Sometimes he lets people leave so he can take their place. Sometimes he removes the noise so you can finally hear the whispers of your soul calling you back to him. And yes, it hurts. It's supposed to. You were created to love deeply, to connect, to give. So when that love is misused or left unreturned, it cuts deep. But don't let the pain fool you into thinking you were rejected. You weren't. You were protected. Protected from relationships that were draining your energy. Protected from company that dimmed your light. Protected from people who liked your presence but never planned to respect your absence. Allah saw what you didn't. He heard what you never will. He knows the intentions hidden behind words, and he doesn't remove unless he plans to replace with something better, even if that better begins with a season of loneliness, even if the healing looks like isolation, even if the next chapter requires being alone with him before he sends someone else. That's not punishment, that's preservation, that's divine love. That's Allah rebuilding you in the safest way possible through his presence, not their performance. Because people can promise and still leave. People can say, "I'm here," and still disappear. But your Lord, he doesn't say much. He just stays quietly, constantly, unconditionally. He is with you in your silence. He is with you in your numbness. He is with you when you want to cry but can't. When you're tired of explaining. When you just want to be held by something that won't change. And he gives you that. Through the peace that has no name, through the strength that comes out of nowhere, through the moments when your chest finally feels lighter after sujood. That's him, staying, healing, loving. You didn't lose the people, you found the truth. And it hurts now, but one day you'll say, Alhamdulillah, they left because their absence made room for his presence. Their silence made room for your sincerity. Their goodbye made space for your growth. You see, sometimes Allah closes doors you're not strong enough to walk away from. He takes things before you're ready to let them go. And while it feels unfair now, it's always for your benefit. Because what's meant for you will never leave, and what left was never meant to stay. And when they turned away, you thought something was wrong with you. You replayed conversations, doubted your value, wondered if you loved too much, cared too deeply, gave too freely. You questioned everything about yourself while they walked away without explanation. But the truth is, Their walking away was never about your lack. It was about Allah removing those who were never meant to walk your path. It was about your Lord stepping in when you kept holding on too tightly to those who were pulling away. It was about divine mercy, not rejection. And in that moment of emotional collapse, when everything seemed to fall apart, when your heart dropped and your eyes welled up and the silence became too loud, that was when Allah whispered through the quiet, "I'm still here." And He was, He is, He will always be. You see, He never needed to shout for you to hear Him. He waited for the noise to leave. He waited for your attention. He waited for the distractions to fall away so that you could finally sit with Him. And that kind of presence is unlike anything else. Because when Allah stays, He doesn't just stay beside you, He stays within you. He begins to rebuild the pieces that people left shattered. He rewrites the beliefs that others broke. He lifts your head when shame tries to lower it. And He brings light to places you forgot existed. That is the presence that makes sujood feel like home. That is the love that makes loneliness feel like a lesson. That is the mercy that teaches you to stop searching for validation from those who don't even understand your worth. Because Allah doesn't need you to be louder. He doesn't need you to be stronger. He just needs you to be honest with Him, to turn to Him, to stop explaining yourself to the world and start speaking to the one who already knows. That's where healing begins. That's where the pain starts to feel like purpose. That's where what felt like the end becomes the start of something eternal. And yes, you'll still feel the ache. You'll still remember the way they left. But over time, the memory will lose its sting. Because the more you fill your heart with Allah, the less space it has for resentment. The more you connect with His remembrance, the less you need to be remembered by those who forgot you. And that's when you realize they didn't leave you empty. They left you available to rediscover your own soul, available to reconnect with your purpose, available to walk a path with your head held high and your heart held by the most merciful. And no, it won't always be easy. Some nights will still feel heavy. Some days will still echo with silence. But now you know how to carry it. Now you know where to place it. Now you know who to cry to. And that is a strength no one can take from you. Because when Allah stays, He doesn't just fill the void, He expands your capacity. He teaches you to love without attachment, to give without losing yourself, to walk alone without feeling abandoned, to stand in sujood and say, "Ya Rab, take what you must, but never take this closeness from me." And that closeness, that's your healing. That's your protection. That's the reward in the middle of the test. So let them go. Let what left stay gone. Don't reopen doors that Allah has sealed shut. Don't beg for hearts He freed you from. Don't return to the weight you were never meant to carry. Move forward, even with trembling hands. Move forward, even with tired legs. Move forward, because the one walking beside you is greater than anyone who ever walked away. And He's not leading you backward. He's leading you home to yourself, to your purpose, to your peace. So what if they turned away? So what if they forgot your worth? So what if they left without closure? You have something they never gave you. Consistency. You have someone they could never be. Al-Wakil, Al-Wadud, Ar-Rahman. You have the one who writes your story with mercy, who answers before you ask, who forgives when you fall, and who listens when your voice breaks into nothing. That is your anchor. That is your reminder that abandonment from creation is the invitation to cling to the Creator. That is how you walk now, with quiet strength and sacred surrender, not with bitterness but with belief, not with anger but with awe, not with desperation but with dignity. Because the absence of people doesn't mean you've been left behind. It means you've been pulled aside for something more meaningful, for healing, for elevation, for reconnection, and you'll start to see it slowly, beautifully, The same you who once cried for company now finds peace in silence. The same you who once begged for attention now feels full in sujood. The same you who once feared loneliness now sees solitude as serenity. That transformation isn't small. It's the kind of inner shift that no apology, no closure, no explanation could ever bring. It's the shift that happens when you replace people's approval with Allah's nearness. It's the strength that comes when you say, I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds it. And that belief changes everything. It softens your heart while keeping it strong. It allows you to love without attachment, to grieve without drowning, to hope without forcing outcomes. And as time passes, the same pain that once broke you will become the very proof that you were never alone. That what felt like a curse was a calling. That what felt like loss was gain in disguise. And you'll start to thank Allah, not just for what stayed, but for what left. Not just for who came, but for who couldn't stay. Not just for the answered prayers, but for the ones He lovingly withheld. Because now you know, He only removes to make room. He only delays to prepare. He only silences what was loud, so you can hear what's sacred. So walk forward now, but don't look back. Don't keep checking the door that's already closed. Don't search for love where Allah removed you from. Walk forward with your head high, not because you're proud, but because you're protected, because you're chosen, because you're not walking alone. The one who stayed, He's all you ever needed. And now you know that deeply. Now you are ready to live it fully. So let that be your legacy. Not how people left, but how Allah stayed. Not what broke, but how you rebuilt. Not who hurt you, but who healed you. Because in the end, it wasn't their presence that saved you. It was His, and it always will be.